How you doing?
I'm good.
Did you name the baby?
Devora.
Devora. Very
Nice
nice.
grandma.
Beautiful. A lot of nachas and simchas.
Oh man.
Devora. That was Rivka's maid on
Devora and
Chumash.
Zenobia.
Yeah, she was in Seforim.
Gracious. Makkos.
Rivka's maidservant was Devora. Rivka Yemina.
In Shoftim.
Before that
The
time.
known. Yeah, okay.
It's a pasuk.
Yeah, okay. Haftarah also, right? What's the Haftarah on Shabbos Shira? Yeah, Shira's Devora. Anyways.
Okay, so the Gemara continues its analysis of this price we're holding on Yud Testament Aleph, noting that Rabbi Shmuel seeks a source only for the law that Meiser Sheni cannot be eaten nowadays, but he assumes the very same condition in the case of the Bechar, even without a special source. So, if you remember yesterday, we said there was a hekesh from Meiser Sheni to the Bechar. Just as Bechar is only eaten when the Beis HaMikdash stands, so too Meiser Sheni is only eaten when the Beis HaMikdash stands. So Mike Savar, what does Rishmal hold that caused him to make this hekesh between Bechar and Meiser Sheni? If he holds that the initial kedusha of the Beis HaMikdash is kadosh for its time and for all of time, afil Bechar nami, then even the Bechar can be eaten in Yerushalayim nowadays, right? Because even though the Beis HaMikdash is not there, it's still kadosh. Then you can eat it in Yerushalayim.
It's funny because they learned the Mike Silver question a little different over here. They say that, what does Rabbi Yishmael hold that because of this, it was obvious to him that Bechor doesn't apply nowadays. However, Meiser Sheni he was unsure about.
Yeah.
They set up the question a little different.
Rabbi Shmuel, it was a given that for some reason that a Bechar doesn't need a special source to show that it cannot be eaten nowadays. So, if that's what he holds when it comes to Kedusha, then it should be able to be eaten nowadays. And if he holds that the original Kedusha is only for that time and not for the future, then even concerning the Bechar, you should inquire whether eating its meat is permissible nowadays. So any way you hold, how does Rabbi Shmuel know that you're not allowed to eat the Bechar carbon nowadays? If he holds Kedusha, Rishina is Kedusha now, then he should be able to eat. And if he holds the Kedusha is not now, then he should be able, then
if you hold this now, that even Bechor also, you should have a doubt about Bechor.
Right? How do you wouldn't know that you're not?
Are you allowed to eat it or not? Seems like there are two ways of learning this question.
Once you have a reason, then
You want to speak it out?
To properly understand the Gemara's ensuing discussion, several concepts must be explained. There's a question whether Kedusha Rishayna Kitcha L'Shaita V'Kitcha L'Asud Lavai. This question is actually divided into two distinct categories regarding the Kedusha of the land of Eretz Yisrael and the sanctity of the Beis HaMikdash. In regards to the Kedusha of the land of Eretz Yisrael, this question relates to whether the Halacha is dependent on the land of Eretz Yisrael, such as Trumas and Maasros, which came into effect when the Yidden originally took possession of Eretz Yisrael, remain biblically applicable in Eretz Yisrael even after the nation has been exiled from the land. If the original sanctity remains for all times, then these laws are always biblically enforced. But if the sanctity ceases with the Galus, these laws cease to be biblically applicable as well. In regard to the sanctity of the Beis HaMikdash, the question relates to whether the temple site in Yerushalayim retains its sanctity even after the Beis HaMikdash is destroyed. That is, do the various laws of Karbanos that apply only at the Beis HaMikdash site remain in force even during the period of the Beis HaMikdash's destruction? Practical applications of this question emerge from the Gemara's discussion below. The two questions are not interdependent. Thus, for example, one could hold that the requirement to separate Truma and Maasros might still be biblically enforced today because the Kedusha of the land remains, but that the Maaser Sheni, which is separated, cannot be eaten in Yerushalayim because the Kedusha of the Beis HaMikdash has been suspended. Rabbi Shmuel in the Brisa clearly holds that the sanctity of the land of Eretz Yisrael is still in force nowadays, for since he discusses whether it might be permitted to bring Maaser Sheni to Yerushalayim and eat it there, he must view the requirement to separate Maaser Sheni as still applicable. His uncertainty as to whether the permissibility of eating it hinges on what is the status of Yerushalayim is nowadays. Nevertheless, Rabbi Shmuel takes for granted that a Bechor may not be eaten nowadays, Rashi, even in Yerushalayim. The Gemara therefore investigates what Rabbi Shmuel holds with respect to the sanctity of the temple site. So it says Rabbi Shmuel clearly holds that the Kedusha of the land of Eretz Yisrael is still in force.
Well, he doesn't hold either way, right? The Gemara is going a little back and forth on that.
For since he discusses whether, I'm not sure. For since he discusses, For since he discusses whether it might be permitted to bring Maaser Sheni to Yerushalayim and eat it there, he must view the requirement to separate Maaser Sheni as still applicable.
Time of its the field of its Meiser, right? That's a Meiser Sheni, right? Goes after the Kita means if it was picked in the year, let's say, first and second year, right? Fourth and fifth year is Meiser.
Right. So if you hold again, right? We had a Rabbi Yishmael. Right? It was obvious to him that Bechor doesn't apply nowadays. Correct? That's Rabbi Yishmael. Yeah?
What do you mean doesn't apply? That you can't eat it in your
The
Yerushalayim?
halachas of it.
That what?
We don't have it. Doesn't
You
apply.
don't bring a Bechor?
Yeah. Right? Maaser Sheni, was he definitive that said they didn't apply? No, he wasn't sure. So why is there a difference? So if Rabbi Yishmael is going to hold that the holiness is only for now, Kitchel Shaiso, right? That it's for now and Kitchel Asilavo. So what should be the conclusion over there?
Then he should be able to eat it in Yerushalayim.
Right. So then the question becomes, what's the idea with Maaser Sheni? He wasn't sure about it. So then Bechor also, you could eat it nowadays. If you hold that it could be done nowadays, then Bechor you should be able to do it.
Meaning, either whatever he holds, he should still. Either way, he should still have a question as it applies to.
Right. Now, if you hold that it doesn't apply, then you should have a question by Bechor. That's basically the question. This is the question. If
Hold on. Well, why? If it doesn't apply,
do the Bechor. If not, then you should at least have a shiloh.
What's the shiloh?
What's the story?
He said there's no.
Are you allowed to eat it?
Why not? He says there's no kedusha. He says you should not be able to eat it because there's no kedusha. Why would he ask a question?
That you should not be able to eat it?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't by Maaser Sheni there was a question?
Oh,
So
Rashi.
if you're going to have a question by Maaser Sheni, then you should have a question by the what do you call it? Also the bechor. Look at Rashi over here. Ikasaver. You see Rashi? Ikasaver. Hi Tana the pshitale bechor tfei memaiser. What does this Tana hold? It was obvious to him bechor more than meiser. Next Rashi. Yeah. Ikasaver kedusha rishona shall buy his kidsha l'shaiso the kidsha l'osilov the kedusha is for now and for later ki hechidus yolei the kedusha are just like when it comes to the kedusha of the land. The call mebaile and he's asking me karinam be hashta beloichoin lefnei Hashem loikecha lo is it called without a wall in front of Hashem or not? The call pashit meiser mebechor and he is solving the question meiser from bechor. Afil bechor nami yakriv yoichel bring the bechor and eat it. The Haman, the Isla Kedusha lost its level severely makriv. And if you're going to hold that the Kedusha applies in the future, so then you can bring it. Even if you don't have the base Mikdash. The Kedusha is still there, as it says in Megillah and Daf Yud. V'ikasaver lekidusha filu b'chor nami tabai. V'ikasaver Kedusha sabai is botlan. If you want to see the Kedusha of the base Mikdash is null and void, and you still had a question by Meiser, hoyel ve'inu sarich labai is since it doesn't require the base of Mikdash, Achil b'Yushalayim lefnei Hashem karina be'ilo, and you weren't sure by Meiser, is it called that when you eat in Yerushalayim it's in front of Hashem or not? Since so to Bechor, you should also have the question.
What should be the question?
The question should be: Could you go through with the Bechor or not with the mitzvah? For example,
how did
he's specifying. Wait, let's just finish Rashi. Bechor shenizrog damo. If you sprinkled the blood. V'char of Abayis, and there's no base of Mikdash.
No, the base of Mikdash then got destroyed.
Then on the spot after the Zrikas Adam, okay, good point. But the meat is still there. Meanwhile, could you eat it or not?
Right. Does the kedusha of the base of Mikdash still
either way,
last?
either you should have a definitive answer if the kedusha exists that it would be good with the before, or you should have a question if you hold the kedusha still doesn't exist similar to Meiser Sheni.
You can only bring.
By the way, it's a little confusing when they just say Meiser and they don't say Meiser Sheni. Like they're trying to say one word. Okay, fine, so that they know we're talking about Meiser Sheni, but they should still specify it. Whatever. Something to think about. So that's the question.
You can't eat the bechar if the kedusha that makes some mikdash is not there, right?
Yeah, maybe you could.
So, but he should be asking if the kedusha still lasts.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He only compared. He only asked it. He wanted to compare Ma'aser Sheni to Bechar as if it was a given. Amar Avina lo ilam ksavar kidsha l'shaita v'loy kidsha la'asid lavet. Actually, Yishnal holds that the kedusha is when the base of Mikdash is built, but not for the future. So there, if that's the case, then why didn't he inquire about the bechar as well? What's the that whether or not you're allowed to eat it? And over here, Rishmal is dealing with the bechar.
You looked at it?
No, I saw the Rashi.
Yeah,
it's Rashi.
Because when you did that Rashi, there was a quick pickup on that.
Rishmal holds that the initial kedusha is only for the time that it's up and not for future. And here Rabbi Shmuel is dealing with the case of the blood of the Bechar was thrown upon the Mizbeach before the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash. And the Beis HaMikdash was then destroyed, but the carbon's meat was still in existence. It hadn't been consumed by the Kehanim. And it is clear that Rabbi Shmuel that the meat can no longer be eaten because we compare the meat of the Bechar to its dam. Just as the dam is conditional on the existence of the Mizbeach, since the blood has to be thrown on the Mizbeach.
Right, meaning only at a time that's fitting for the blood to be sprinkled on the Mizbeach, because that I mean not after it's destroyed, okay.
Since the blood has to be thrown, so if there's no Mizbeach, nothing doing. Af b'sar b'Mizbeach. So too, the eating of the meat is contingent on the fact that the Mizbeach is still there. Umakish meiser lebechar. So according to him, the reason Rabbi Shmuel didn't ask about Bechar is because he compares Bechar to Dam, and if that's the case, the Kedusha, if that's the case, then you're not allowed, since there's no Mizbech, you're not allowed to eat it. Aber Meiser Sheni, we don't know what the din is as to whether or not you're allowed to eat the Meiser Sheni. So therefore, he compares the Meiser Sheni to the Bechar and says, just as the meat of the Bechar cannot be eaten, so to Meiser Sheni, foods cannot be eaten with the absence of the Beis HaMikdash.
Yeah.
V'chidavar alama behekesh chayzer melamed behekesh, but can a halacha derived through a hekesh in turn teach another halacha through a hekesh, right? Because we have the hekesh of dam to basar, and then we want to make the hekesh of basar from bechar to meiser. So it's a hekesh on a hekesh, and that's a hekesh times 2. And for the Gemara, meiser dagon chulin hu, we will know when Mashiach comes. Sorry, I thought I was making believe it was a take. The meiser of grain, meiser sheni, is non-sacrificial. Therefore, a 2-stage hekesh is admissible in this case, since the rule disallowing such applies only to karbanis, which I think we saw recently. The Gemara states meiser of grain in contrast to the meiser of animals, which is offered as a karban. So therefore, when we say no hekesh on a hekesh, it's only referring to karbanis, not meiser sheni. This is good according to the one who says that when it comes to a 2-stage hekesh is one of for the karbanis, we follow the subject that learns its law through the second hekesh. That matter is non-sacrificial, and the issue is not considered a case of sacrificial law, even if the first had. So this is good according to the Manda Amar that says when the second part has nothing to do with a karban, which I suppose a Bechar, he's learning that from Bechar. I'm sorry. Bechar is a karban, but when we're talking about Meiser Sheni, because the Mandamar says because Meiser Sheni is not a karban, therefore it's okay. You can have a hekesh on a hekesh. But the Mandamar who says Basar Melamed as Linon, when the issue that we're learning out through the second hekesh has to do with a karban, in this case Bechar, Ma'ayek Lamema, what are you going to say? After the Gemara, Dam Ubasar Chadav Milsahi. The blood of the Bechar and its meat, which are linked in the original hekesh, are 2 aspects of the same sacrifice. So since the first hekesh does not extend the law to a different context, but merely defines the law of the Bechar itself, so then the first, what was the problem according to this Mandamar? What are the 2 items? Oh, here, Rashi Tzmura. The latter opinion would view our case as a sacrificial issue because the source law for the second hekesh, the meat of the Bechar, is a sacrificial law, even though the target law, Meiser Sheni, is non-sacrificial. Accordingly, we cannot use a 2-stage hekesh, and we are back to the question of how to derive that Meiser Sheni will not be eaten in the absence of the temple. But what is this? We view our case as a sacrificial issue because the source for the second hekesh. So when you have 2 hekeshim, how would you plural hekesh? Hekeshis. When you have 2 hekeshes, and each of them has what to do with a karban, and you know it has to do with meat, then those are 2 separate hekeshes. Not unlike the Mandamar who says no, but you still have. It's not all about a karban; it's also about Meiser Sheni. So Gemara says no. That first hekesh, which you thought was a hekesh, it's not really a hekesh in the original, in the pure sense, because this that we compared dam when the mizbeach has to be built, compared it to basar that you can only eat it when the mizbeach's built. You're talking about dam, basar, flesh. You ever eat a good steak, blood coming out, obviously cooked, but what were we saying before though? And I don't want to go back to it. Why did we? Is there any practical matter to Eretz Yisrael, whether or not?
Tremendous. Say it, the whole.
No. I mean, in our Gemara, I know it brought. Was there any applicable reasoning to know to bring in the kedusha of Eretz Yisrael?
If you go
in our Gemara? I understand the kedusha of the Beis Hamikdash,
in the 60th, and the Kitas in 70.
like Trumas and Meisters, as to whether or not
So
that wasn't relevant to our Gemara, right?
Right.
We were focused on the kedusha of the Beis Hamikdash.
and it's an Esra. What halacha? And then
You need a Beis Hamikdash for.
what halacha would Shvius?
What do you
For
need
the
for right?
carbon.
What do you need for right? So for the Bechor you need the Beis Hamikdash. And what about Meiser Sheni?
The Beis Hamikdash.
Right. So then the Gemara, right?
I don't think the land of Eretz Yisrael. It was just brought because it was relevant
Fine, yeah.
to. Okay. Okay, Rabbi Say, we're now on your test, Amid Beis.
Right.
Reish Mem Vav. Everyone has to know it.
So
He's very tired. He had a baby girl named Devora.
I'm good.
I checked my mezuzahs.
but if it would have been
One of my son's room, the mezuzah was upside down. The mezuzah to my, I don't know, mezuzah to my house must have water must have gotten into it because
The outside.
the outside the house.
Let's get hit always.
So I had somebody come take off all the mezuzahs and check. But he's checking. Well, I don't have any mezuzahs up while he's checking.
Take the count.
Problem? What am I supposed to do? Get temps?
How long is it taking to check it?
but
I don't know, maybe a day.
it's like a vegetable.
Said the walk-in closet is not.
Probably make a new bracha when you put them up. It's gonna take a full.
I'm
It's
thinking,
a big machlokes. It's a big shiloh.
So I mean, Kuf Vav.
Where? Or Chaim? So it's tefillah. What would it be doing in Hilchos tefillah?
So you have to say a
It's in your
bracha.
day,
You
it's
have to
in
say a
your day.
bracha.
In your
This is-
day.
I don't know what Or Chaim versus Yardam means. I don't know what that
Oh, yeah,
means.
yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, yeah. That's because all we learn is Gemara, that's why.
I don't know what that means. Or Chaim versus
There's
Yardam.
4 sections in the Torah and Shulchan Aruch.
Is the what's the difference between Torah and Shulchan Aruch?
Okay.
You see how dumb I am, Rabbi say?
Well, that's why we're here. It's okay. It's not necessarily that. It's, you're not privileged to spend enough time.
I'm sure someone. I knew it at some point.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
You forgot.
I know the Taz has machlekes with Magen Avram sometimes.
Okay. You have the Torah. He basically methodically compiled.
Who's the Tor? Who is
The
that?
Torah is the son of the Rush. Torah of the son of the
Rush
Rush.
is in the
Rabbeinu
back of
Asher.
the Gemara.
He's the first Rishon on the back of the Gemara. The Rush. So the Rush has a son, Rabbi Yaakov. The Torah, the Baal HaTurim. You read the Baal HaTurim, which is a commentary on Chumash with Gematria. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's the one that says in Parshas Bo. Bo is Gematria 3. There's 3 Makkos in Parshas Bo. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Torah methodically organized all relevant halachas that apply nowadays, basically. And he split it up in 4 sections. Within those 4 sections, there are different simanim. It's basically numbers. Viewed as doors, which in each door, there's a treasure, a different treasure behind each door that you open. There's different floors. You could view your day at different floors. You go to hospitals, different floor. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What happens on each floor? What happens on each section? So, the Shulchan Aruch followed the exact order that the Torah had. Yeah?
The Torah is its own sefer.
The Torah is its own sefer. There are a tremendous amount of commentaries on the Torah. These are the shiurim that I give on a daily basis.
The Torah wrote 4 different treasures.
Yes, 4 different sections. The shiurim that I give nowadays, when we learn halacha, we learn it in depth and we learn it all the way up. So you really get the historic perspective of how the halacha develops also. On the Torah, there's different commentaries. You have the Beis Yosef, which is the same author of the Shulchan Aruch.
Hold on, what are the
Yosef
4 treasures?
What are the 4? So you have Or Chaim. Or Chaim is literally the way of life. Those are the daily halachas that we need. The Mishnah Berurah is
So the Or
a
Chaim is
commentary
not a
on Or
person.
Chaim. It's also a commentary on Chumash. So, yeah. But when it comes to the sections, the Mishnah Berurah is only on Or Chaim. Okay?
Okay.
Or
One second, I
Chaim,
need to know the 4 treasures.
Okay.
Or Chaim is on life.
Your day.
Yardea is on Ben Adam Lamakim. Made that up, I don't know.
Yeah. Yordea, Even Ezer, and Choshen Mishpat.
Choshen Mishpat I know is business.
Okay, Choshen Mishpat is money, business. Okay? Even Ezer is anything that has to do.
I don't hear that
with
one
women.
quoted a lot. Even Ezer.
Depends if people are learning it. I happen to really enjoy this Simonim that I learned properly in Even Ezer. Anything. Did you get married?
I did.
How'd you get married?
With the ksuba.
Okay. The halachas of a ksuba are there. The halachas of a ger are there. The halachas of kiddushin are there. The halachas of puravu are there, etc. All of these halachas are there. Anything in Seder Nashim is in Even Ezer. Choshen Mishpat, anything about money, damages, business is there. Or Chaim is daily halachas. It starts basically throughout the day. Alan.
What's your day on?
Your day is it starts with basically anything food related, but it has more. So it's going to start with the halachas of shchita, then malicha, basa v'chalav, tarubas, anything kashrus related is in there. Nida is a big topic. Avelus is at the end of your day. You have a lot of miscellaneous in your day. Kibbut Aveim, Shluach HaKan, Ribis is actually in your day. That's interesting. So your day has a lot of very, very relevant.
How long does it? How big is
it depends
the
how
tour?
you're going to learn it. So on the tour, there's multiple commentaries. But before the tour, the Or Chaim is everything we do every single day. Tzitzis, Tefillin, Shema, Shmona Esrei, end of davening, Hilchos Brachos, Mincha, Ma'ariv, Shabbos, Eruvin, all of the Yomim Tovim. You have a tremendous amount in Or Chaim. 9 days, all this stuff. Okay, the tour, you have multiple commentaries. You have the Beis Yosef, which is the same author as the Shulchan Aruch, Rabbi Yosef Cairo, and he also wrote the commentary on the Rambam, the Kesef Mishnah.
So Shulchan Aruch's a commentary on the Torah?
No, Shulchan Aruch is its own sefer. The Beis Yosef is on the Torah. The Beis Yosef provides the sources. So if you learn
Beis
Halacha,
Yosef was written by the same person as the Shulchan Aruch?
correct, Rabbi Yosef Cairo. The Torah.
Is the
what you're
Shulchan
going to
Aruch
do-
found in the Torah in the same sefer?
No, it's different sefer. That's what I'm trying to explain.
Hold on.
The Torah,
And
yeah.
Rabbi Yosef Cairo was alive the same time as the Torah?
After the Torah is a late Rishon, and the Shulchan Aruch is an early Achron. So they were kind of right after each other, but in terms of historically, the Torah is considered a late Rishon, the end of the time period of the Rishonim, and the Shulchan Aruch is the
So
beginning
why
of
did the
time
Shulchan
period.
Aruch write something
Okay,
if the
good
Torah
question.
had something?
So the Torah basically said we have to organize this, but you have to have some background information of where this halacha came from. But the background information is not too much. It's not too little. It's kind of somewhere in between. So
Was there no halacha sefer
That's right.
until the
That's
Torah?
right. They were just learning Gemara and Rishonim, and you had to organize it. It was really whatever.
What people were forgetting, or people just didn't know?
No, it just needed some organization. There's a tremendous amount of knowledge and tremendous amount of
And
information.
people must have been forgetting.
No, not necessarily.
Is that
forgetting. It's
Torah
just-
Shabbat Peh?
This is the whole Torah Shabbat Peh, yeah. So the Torah basically what he does, he'll quote multiple opinions, multiple Rishonim. But the Beis Yosef, he relates exactly where it comes from in the Gemara. More Rishonim, other Rishonim that the Torah doesn't quote, and he gives his own commentary. That's the Beis Yosef. Then you have the Bach. The Bach sometimes
So
makes
Beis Yosef
questions.
always fits well with the Shulchan Aruch.
His conclusion?
Yeah.
His conclusion is usually the same, but not always. And when it's not, it gets very interesting as to why not. Yeah, that happens.
Different times?
That's why halacha is so geshmak. Stuff gets really interesting. The Bach has a fiery personality.
Who's the Bach?
The Bach is Rabbi Yoel Circus. He's the father-in-law of the Taz. The Bach.
Taz is on the side of the Mishnah Berurah.
The Taz
No,
is on the
Side of
side of the
Shulchan
Shulchan Aruch, but really,
Sorry, I
the
didn't mean
Taz,
to say
a lot of
Mishnah
people
Berurah.
don't
I'm not
know
done.
this. The Taz is really going on the tour a lot of times. But officially, he's
Say
on
that
the-
again?
The
The
Taz
Taz.
is really going on the tour a lot
What's
of times.
going on mean?
He's commenting on the Torah. He's developing an idea based on what
You
the
said
Torah
it's
says.
written on the Shulchan
That's
Aruch.
right. Officially, it's on the Shulchan Aruch.
Oh,
which
the
is
Taz is
fascinating.
bringing items that he's
Exactly.
from the Torah.
Analyzing, right. So you have the Bach, the Beis Yosef, the Drisha Prisha, and then the Darchei Moshe.
those are all on the Shulchan Aruch.
These are all on the Torah. And then you have the Moroksia, but that's off the Daf. That's the basic commentary on the Torah. The Darchei Moshe is incredible significance. That's the Ramah. The Ramah is huge in terms of what he did. The legend has it he died at 33. Tremendous amount that he did in his life. he was writing his own Shulchan Aruch. So basically what happened, the Shulchan Aruch said, look, we need to get something shorter. This is too long, the Torah.
Was the Torah
writes-
Sephardi or Ashkenazi?
Ashkenaz, son of the Rosh. Shulchan Aruch is Sephardi, and we'll come back to Ashkenaz. So the Shulchan Aruch said, look, this is TMI, right? Kind of, maybe you could say what I'm saying now, but this is very important, every word I'm saying. So the Shulchan Aruch said, look, we have to make this shorter. And he writes in his introduction, I'm writing this away so you should finish it every 30 days. Most people don't finish it in their lifetime.
Finish the Shulchan Aruch?
Yeah, every 30 days. I'm pretty sure he said something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Basically what happened is he said we gotta write just a concise, short version of the halacha, bottom line, finish. At the same time, the Ramah had this idea also for the Ashkenazim. The Ramah found out that the Shulchan Aruch beat him to it, and instead of writing his own sefer, he humbled himself and made additions to what the Shulchan Aruch said, and they're printed on the top, next to each other. On the Ramah and the Shulchan Aruch, you have thousands of Seforim that were written. Most famously, the ones that are on the page of the Shulchan Aruch are the Taz and the Magen Avram. You have a commentary. Whenever you learn a Taz and Magen Avram, you always go straight to the Pri Megadim, at least in Orach Chaim. The Pri Megadim has two commentaries. One is the Eishel Avram, and one is the Mishmas Ozav. Mishmas Ozav goes on the Taz Turi Zav, and the Eishel Avram goes on the Magen Avram. Same words. There's another Eishel Avram in the back of the Shulchan Aruch, the Buchacher. That's different. You could easily get that confused. In addition, Magen Avram, you have the Machasis HaShekel. Then you have a lot of other commentaries on the page. He keeps going. You have the Berhetiv, the Shari Tshuva, the Yad Ephraim. I mean, it depends exactly on which section, but you have a tremendous amount. And then famously, the Mishnah Berurah, of course. Mishnah Berurah is really up there. That
the Mishnah Berurah.
Classic commentary. The Mishnah Berurah is written by the Chafetz Chaim.
Why did the Chafetz Chaim feel the need to write it?
Okay, so you have also the Lavush, which is another sefer. You have a lot of stuff. You have all these farmers. Lavush, Kafachayim, Rabbi Mordechai Yafa. Yeah, you have all of these farmers. The Lavush said, look, this is too cut and dry over here, the Shulchan Aruch. We got to give you some of the reasons behind it. We got to give you some more depth. He is the Talmud Muvak, the top student of the Ramah. That's Lavush. So the Mishnah
climbed through the mud.
Yeah, that was crazy. So basically, the Mishnah Berurah said, look, this is very nice, but this is written 300 years ago or so. We have to talk about relevant halachas. We have to talk about bottom line. There's a lot of commentaries, and it's very hard for the...
Mishnah Berurah addresses electricity?
That comes a little bit after. But he addresses some modern issues, but it wasn't necessarily about new emerging technology that affects the halacha. It was more like the average person can't spend hours and hours and hours, like what I try to do. I spend hours and hours prepping the shiurim I give, and I try to condense to the best that I could everything that I did without repeating anything. But average people don't have the time to do that, don't have the patience for that, and they just can't do it. So the Mishnah Berurah basically said, I'm going to give you a one-stop shop. I'm going to put everything, all of these research that I did, tremendous amount of time, I'm going to pull it all on the plate for you. And that's what he did. You have the Mishnah Berurah, more depth. He also wrote the Halacha on the side, and the Sha'ar Tziyun is his sources. So that's basically the Mishnah Berurah. And then since the time of the Mishnah Berurah, you still listening? You have a lot of other commentaries that address the electricity, all of this new emerging technology, how to deal with it. Every single shaila you could imagine with any new technology, you have tons of svarim that are talking about. You have those Vahadim, Mishnah Berurah.
So svarim hold like the Shulchan Aruch?
Typically, svarim hold like Shulchan Aruch, Ashkenazim hold like Ramah. Correct. There are cases when it's not
Hold on,
so.
the Ramah
Rabbi Moshe
wrote.
Isilis.
You can find that in the Shulchan Aruch?
Yeah, that's on the top. That's not the bold part, but it's like a different font usually.
But the Ramah came after the Shulchan Aruch.
Same time, remember.
Oh.
For what we said 5-10 minutes ago, he was writing the sefer at the same time. He could have made his own sefer, he humbled himself, and then he joined. Yeah, that's the Ramah, which is also the Darchei Moshe on the Torah. Same person. So that's basically, in a nutshell, how Halacha develops.
On the Torah, you have the Beis Yosef, who wrote the Shulchan Aruch, who on the Shulchan Aruch you have the Ramah, who wrote
Darchei Moshe. Rabbi Moshe Isilis. Yeah. They call the Shulchan Aruch the set table. The Ramah is called the Makkos, the tablecloth. Tablecloth.
Who's the tablecloth?
That's what they call the Ramah, the Mappa, because Shulchan Aruch means a set table. So that's basically how Halacha develops, right? So this sefer that I have with me right here, this is on one chelik of Mishnah Berurah. This is the Piskei Teshuvos, the new version. on Chelik Shishi, on the last line. So just to give you some sort of understanding, we're talking about over 1,000 pages on one volume, one of the 6 volumes of Mishnah Berurah. The Oz V'Hadar Mishnah Berurah that I have are more like 3,000 pages on one volume. So keep that in mind. And then you have more Seforim. You have Piskei Teshuvos, you have the Dereshit, you have tremendous.
Piskei Teshuvos, this is like
this is written
the Halacha
literally.
L'maisa type?
This is a Halacha L'maisa. He's alive nowadays, and you have many types.
Who wrote this?
Seforim. This is by Rabbi Rabinowitz. His name.
Rabbi Gamliel Rabinowitz?
Yeah. He resides in Eretz Yisrael, the Allah Chassid. He's well known in the Halacha world. Sefer, you have the Dereshit Mishnah Berurah. Also, you have tremendous amounts. I now have Seforim. A lot of people don't know existed. You have Chaim Moshe. You have. It depends on which section you're learning. There's sections specific for that section also. There's a sefer that now is coming out. It's called the Meir Oz, by Meir Rava. In Bnei Brak.
Yeah.
He has on each volume of Mishnah Berurah 4,000 pages. You can't make it up. 4,000 pages. That's incredible.
On each volume?
On each volume, each of the 6. He's coming out now. Now he started on the 3rd volume. I have his farm, his physical farm. They're massive.
I'm gonna go get a tour in the Shulchan Aruch. I want to see it inside.
Yeah.
Where?
So when you come to my house,
Where?
you'll see in this farm room, in the back, right over there, that shelf on the bottom, there's a Torah and the Shulchan Aruch. Yeah, there should be a Torah under it.
It's customary to it, like
The deer shoes on the top. So when you come to my house, the way that I organize my farm, I don't do color code. Some people like the colors, all this garbage. I organize it by, you go in order of the simanim, and you have all the same farm right next to each other. So you want to learn any topic, you have the 8th farm right there, ready to unleash it.
So who wrote the Minchas Chinuch?
The Minchas Chinuch, actually, the author is not so. Was that the Minchas Chinuch or the Chinuch? We don't know exactly who the author was.
But that's,
shame.
is that
You have
halacha?
the Chinuch. No, that's something else. That's its own.
Minchas Chinuch is on
limud.
Chumash.
You should know that's what I was learning with Yitz over here last summer. I don't know if you recall, I was learning with Yitz here before October said. Gravy?
Oh, yeah.
So he wanted to do Chinuch. Chinuch is fascinating. So the Gemara at the end of Makkos says there's 613 mitzvahs. The question is, what are they? And we'll see based on what it is. So it's a major machlokas among the Rishonim what that is.
Mm-hmm.
So the Chinuch goes through each of the mitzvahs. By the parsha, you also have the Rambam in the Seforim mitzvahs, the Smag, you have a lot of discussion on what the mitzvahs are. That's the chinuch. The chinuch doesn't just say what the mitzvahs are. He says, do they apply nowadays? Do they apply to women or not? What's the reason for the mitzvah? What are some of the sources? What are some of the halachas? What are some of the gemaras? The minchas chinuch is a commentary that came later on the chinuch, which he's known for his lumdus. And it's beautiful. He's a classic that gets quoted a lot of times in halacha also. Like, for example, in Hilchos Kiddush. So when he talks about the mitzvah of Kiddush, it gets quoted. There's a minchas chinuch. And other times. There are Seforim, very few people know about this. Again, these are for specific people who are already learning Minchas Chinuch properly. There's Seforim on the Minchas Chinuch.
So who wrote the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch?
That's Rabbi Gansfried. The Kitzur Shulchan Aruch has his own order. No. The Kitzur Shulchan Aruch is similar to Chai Adam, where basically they made a concise version. They put it in one sefer, and they said this is the halacha in short.
I learned Chai Adam in 8th grade.
In short, yeah.
So
the
Chai Adam
the
is...
Chafetz Chaim used to give shiurim to Balabat.
Who wrote the Chai Adam?
Chai Adam, I'm not sure his actual name, but he also wrote the Chachmas Adam. I know
That's a condensement of what?
Of halacha. So in the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, you're not just getting Orach Chaim. You're getting pieces of your day, pieces very small, bite-sized, of Eben Ezra and Choshen Mishpah. And you certainly, if you're just learning Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, you're not learning enough. By the way, may I add, on RabbiBlan.com, you have every single word read and translated in the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, plus additional notes on the halacha section. Every single word, plus additional notes. The whole thing. Keep that in mind.
You ever heard of the Beis Chadash?
That's the Bach. The Bayis Chodesh.
You ever heard of the Prisha?
That's the Prisha. We said that before. If you go back to what we said, the Drisha and the Prisha.
Drisha and the Prisha.
Yeah.
Those are two different people?
I think it's the same personality. I think they're Yeshua folk, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
From England?
I'm not sure. Not sure. But all of this, you could easily look up as Seforim at home. You could also look it up through other ways.
So how many different volumes are there of like?
Tremendous amount. It depends which printing.
There's something called an Arbiturim Hama'ar and Arbiturim Hashalim.
There are different versions of the Torah Shulchan Aruch. You have to get the good version. Some of them it's much more clear. It's better. Some of them there's.
What does that mean?
Footnotes.
There's different.
Different. You look at the text, right? The text is different text. Some of it's better. Some of it's not. The Friedman is known as an excellent one. Hadura Friedman.
So do you say Hagais Hamaralach?
Yes, that's at the bottom of the Torah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have those. Those are small. Those are small additional notes.
So the Torah was
This is the
written.
Darkei Tshuva. The Darkei Tshuva is just on your day. It's 5 volumes. I have it at home also. It's a good sefer. It's more of a contemporary, more recent.
Well,
and
it's an old school print, no?
It's old school print, but he has a lot of nice ideas that he brings. He's a quoter. We call them like a likud sefer.
A curation, right? A collection.
Yeah, a collection. And the reason why you need that is because, I have a couple hundred shilos and shuvas Seforim at home. Most people, it takes a tremendous amount of strength to learn through these long responses that are 5-10 pages. What he's going to do is he's going to take a 10 page response, condense it into a few sentences over here, and say the exact location where it is. So if you want, you could look it up, which is in a different order of the simon that you're looking. That's why these Seforim are so beautiful. Isn't the Torah so amazing? It's crazy how much there is. I don't think any other religion is anything close to this.
There's no such thing as religion. There's Yiddishkeit and then Narishkeit.
Right, I'm just whatever.
I just made that up, but it sounds good, and it's
Whatever,
true. There's no people. They made religion as if like
Correct.
there could be another type of Hakadosh Baruch Hu.
Meaning they have their books where they could research more if they want. I don't think there's anything even close to this in terms of the amount of information. Yeah.
You're there, Hilchos Treifos.
Shefas, that's more towards the beginning. That's part of Shechita. I said Shechita because when you do Shechita, you have to know if you could even get to the Shechita. Maybe even if you do a kosher Shechita, it's not going to work. That's a treifa. A lot of people, they say that's treif. McDonald's, that's treif. It's not treif. It's not kosher.
And Reb Chaim Kanievsky would learn this inside out.
Reb Chaim Kanievsky knows every single simon. Knew every single simon well. Every single taz, every month. It's pretty basic. Any major rabbi, which there are very few of, but any big rabbi, any massive posek has to know every single taz, every single Magen Avram, every single Beis Yosef. There's nothing to talk about. You have to know every Prima Gadim. But Moshe Feinstein, that's how famous he said. How could you be asking halacha without knowing every Prima Gadim?
This Darkei Tshuva is tremendous.
The Darkei Tshuva is after. Yeah.
Well, it's pages long.
Come to my house and I'm going to show you how many hundreds and hundreds of Seforim that I have on all these topics.
Now we're going to open up the Shulchan.
You look around in the base medrash over here. Let me tell you something about the base medrash and most. If you look at the base medrash, more than half of it is filler. Take away the Chumashim, take away the Seforim, and take away all of the repeat sets of Gemara and Mishnah. What are you left with? Not much. Half of everything in here is what I just said. More than half. It's all filler, which is fine because you need standard. You need multiple sets of shas. You need multiple mishnayos. You need multiple shulchan aruchs and torahs for people who are properly learning. You need that. But then it's filler. Come in my room. There's nothing extra. Every single thing there is new and is its own entity. That's why over here, the amount of halachas that they have, I have 4 times the amount of what they have over here.
There's not only Hilchos Gneva, there's Hilchos Gzela.
Yeah. You know why? Because most times at base medrash, people aren't learning halacha. Halacha is something that's learned properly in certain kolos. That's why. So they don't need it. That is one of my specialties. Halacha. That's what you're learning. From halacha.
Ruvain Hasha'il Chafetz L'Shimon. Ruvain lent out an object to Shimon, V'Fsidai, and Shimon lost it.
Yeah.
Amar Shimon LaRuvain, Hishava Kama Haya Shava V'Afrenulach.
Yeah.
Swear to me how much this item was worth, and I'll pay you for it.
Yeah.
The Hashav Baal HaChafetz Hashava Ata V'heshiv bal hachavetz yishava ata v'hifter yishava be'olav.
Seems like he's trying to switch who's going to make you swear. The question mishpat is a specialty within halacha. Everything is basically got a specialty. People learn this. It's called like that.
Doesn't Rabbi
You know who does this? Diana.
isn't it an Eretz Yisrael Rabbi?
You don't need to go there.
There's like an American Kyle that does halacha.
They have special things. Special things. Anyone who becomes a Dayan needs to know from Mishpat.
They have Shulchan Aruch in English.
Parts of it, but you're not going to be learning it properly.
No, I'm saying what from you mentioned, maybe the Mishnah Berurah, but what from what you mentioned has Art Scroll
Really?
Englishified?
I mean, they have the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. It's a 5-volume article. So they have Mishnah Berurah. I think they have some English. I don't know. The English Seforim that are on Halacha, basically, they focus usually on one topic, or they make their own order. What people do if they need help getting through this is now the Uz V'Hadr and the Siftahs basically on the Gemara are doing it on Shulchan Aruch, which is incredible. They're doing it not just for the Taz and the Magen Avraham, but even for the Prima Godins and the Makkos Shekel many times. And then they have additional commentary in the back with additional notes and everything, and it's incredible. I own a lot of them, and I have them digitally also. So it's an incredible thing that we're doing. It's not hard to learn this language. It's in Gemara. It's Hebrew. It's not hard. The terms are repetitious for the most part, and it's not hard because once you know how to do it, everything is pretty easy. I mean, it takes time to know how to. I'm not gonna lie. It takes time to know how to learn the Taz and Magen Avraham properly. The Makkos Shekel. It's difficult. It's tough to do it. Mishnah is significantly easier.
But then the Rambam came in.
Rambam is in time of the Rishonim.
Before, so that's before the Torah.
Yes. The Rambam is an earlier Rishon. The Torah is later.
So the Torah quotes the Rambam?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The Torah quotes Avi Mori, my father. And then he quotes the Rambam. And he quotes when they argue. The Rambam did his whole own style. Rambam was very controversial at the time. He basically said, all you need is my Sefer, forget about the Gemara. Close the Gemaras. People used to burn his farm, which is the Rambam is a classic and fundamental, but at the time they were very afraid. Rambam said, I'm making my own order of all halachas, whether they're relevant nowadays or not. And he made his totally own order. Now on the Rambam, that's another part of my base medrash, any base medrash, but I have a couple dozen farms just on the Rambam, the whole Rambam section. The Rambam made his own order, and you have the commentary on the page of the Rambam, such as the Kesef Mishnah, the Magid Mishnah, the Mishnah L'Melech, right? You have a lot on there. And then you have Seforim off the page of the Rambam, which in a lot of the yeshivas they learn.
Yeah, I was going to say, we learned a lot of...
Classics. Classics. Tremendous amount of that. The Rambam.
The Ramban was the same
I'm
time.
just going to put an idea in your head, if I may. The Rambam is the early time of the Rishonim. A lot of times people have goals. People have life goals. A good life goal is to finish Shas, Bab, Yerushalmi, Rambam, Torah Shulchan Aruch, Tanakh. Life goals. And when we say finish, there's a lot of different levels of finishing, right? When you say someone's wealthy, there's a lot of different levels of wealth. We're talking about someone that has 10, 100, a billion, 10 million, 100 million. There's a lot of different levels. The Havdalah doubles when it comes to Torah activation and learning through it. A person, tremendous. He made a siyum on, I think he said he did Torah Beis Yosef, something like that. He did Torah Beis Yosef on the whole Yorday with his chavrusa. Pretty sure he said something like that. Different levels. And then there's the commentaries on the page of the Shulchan Aruch. In your day, you have the Shach also. You have the Shach instead of the Magen Avraham. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
My personal, opinion is if a person's already spending time picking an area of halacha, saying that they want to go through the whole thing, they might have to do it properly. Someone's going to spend the time to go through the shachs, the tazes, the prima gadus, or whatever it is. You might have to just learn it all the way. More contemporary Seforim and whatever. So it comes down to.
Okay. That will conclude today's
I thought
session.
you also should know, I don't know if you're a Rabbi Yisrael Reisman fan.
Yeah, sure.
He has, if you type his name in, I think it's MP3 something, whatever, type his name in, he shiurim that he gives every single Sunday for 1 hour on other sections of Shulchan Aruch, not Orchaim, not Mishnah section.
I'm not sure what he's thinking.
And he's done a lot of simanim. He doesn't go through every single word, but he quotes a lot of relevant ideas also.
Sorry?
That's what it is.
Text him.
Yeah, you get a
Ask him if he's coming.
better understanding.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be my next thing, but I'm gonna stay for the combined too.